the answer to all this is Medicare for all, Medicare for everybody who wants it, for anybody who wants it, paid for by a 1% Tobin tax on Wall Street turnover, derivatives, stocks, bonds, options, futures, foreign exchange, commodities, and all the rest. 1% sales tax for bankers, 1% sales tax for stockbrokers, 1% sales tax for bond traders, 1% sales tax for derivatives mongers, right? You pay 5 to 10% sales tax. They pay nothing. Let them pay 1%. Split it 50-50 between the feds and the states, and you can get rid of these furloughs and all the rest of it. So that's the answer. And, of course, if you want to save money, the only way to save money is to put a few $100 billion into biomedical research, cure cancer, cure heart disease, cure the top 10 dread diseases. You can realize huge savings. You can economize like mad, and you won't be killing anybody in the process. So with Obama, there are death boards. There are death panels. But the answer to that is not to turn it over to the market so the market kills you in its own impersonal way, the free market that brings you death seemingly through the impersonal mechanisms, the objective mechanisms of the market, which, of course, are politically loaded from the word go. No, none of that. Rather, save money by finding cures. Otherwise, rationing either through the death boards or through the death-dealing effects of the free market, that's all going to be unavoidable. So we need, in effect, not the reactionary Republicans and not the Obama fascist corporate state, but the good old American New Deal, the American system traditionalist approach from Hamilton to Franklin D. Roosevelt to Kennedy, embodied today in Medicare. If the Democratic Party had been serious about any of this, they would have been saying Medicare for all for the last 15 years. There's nothing mysterious about it. There's no leap into the dark. There's nothing, nothing new. It's track-proven, road-tested, got a tremendous track record, cutting mortality, morbidity by 1/5 among senior citizens. The greatest success that we've had in the second half of the 20th century, most likely, is Medicare. So why not just open that up to everybody? And if you need some more money, let Wall Street pay through the nose. That would be a reasonable program. And then launch your science driver to find the cures. Democratic Party never talked about that. They talked about something called single payer. What is that? Public option? It sounds like a restroom, right? A public convenience in Britain means a public toilet. And a government option, a government plan. What is it? Once you put that up there, that's a blank slate, and Dick Armey and company can come along and Newt Gingrich, and they can fill that blank slate in with any kind of horror story they want. And, of course, the horror stories are not lacking when you've got Holdren, Zeke Emanuel, and this Daschle, and indeed Michelle Obama, a whole gang of genocidalists whose common denominator is they want to help you to die. The Hemlock Society and Dr. Kevorkian have taken over the Obama administration. Indeed, the Hemlock Society is, it seems to be one of the sources that the Veterans Administration sends you to if you want to know how to fill out a living will. So these ghouls of genocide and euthanasia have got to get a resounding rebuff. And then some piecemeal reforms towards what I've just said would become possible. Now, let's look at the organizing perspective here. The peace movement claims to be reviving. I mean, so far what we've seen concretely is Cindy Sheehan going to Martha's Vineyard and scoring a big success with precious little support from most of these people. I looked again at the Code Pink website. Not a word about Cindy Sheehan on Martha's Vineyard. What world are these people living in? How can they say that they want your money and your support to be a peace movement when they don't do anything? They don't fight for peace. Now, some of the peace groups are coming to Washington on October 5th to 6th. The problem with that is that's a Monday. October 5th, I believe, is a Monday. This is crazy. If you want to have a decent demonstration, you've got to have a Saturday date, and you get yourself a permit for Lafayette Park across from the White House. You can get a few thousand people in Lafayette Park. You have created a successful demonstration, which is an effective photo opportunity to show the signs and show the people protesting right across from the Obama White House. No doubt about who is giving the orders in Afghanistan. And you send out around the world, you have revived the peace movement in the world. Notice there seems to be a studious attempt by the foundation-funded peace fakers to avoid it. They schedule their march on a Monday. Well, this is crazy. We need a Saturday demonstration sometime in October, November. Lafayette Park is the perfect place. Do what Ramsey Clark did back in November 1990, the most effective protest, albeit in a losing cause, to stop the U.S. attack on Iraq that then followed in January, February of 1991. So that's for that. Now, the teabaggers are coming to Washington on September 12th, right? The Tea Party March on Washington is September 12th. These guys have got the elementary good sense to have it on a Saturday when they might actually get some people. And you will have followed this Teabag Express, which is going around the country, getting tremendous publicity from Fox News. What they don't tell you is that it's done by Freedom Works, a Republican public relations firm headed by Dick Armey, the sidekick of Newt Gingrich. Reactionaries. We'll be back in a minute. Welcome back to our second hour in this week's special Labor Day edition of World Crisis Radio. And at this point, we want to give our usual weekly update on the main front in the legal battle to make Obama prove that he is eligible to be president of the United States. In other words, the fight to get the U.S. Constitution respected, because that's all it is, right? The Constitution is not a delicatessen where you pick the parts you like and ignore the parts you don't like. Some people thought that Bush was violating some parts of the Constitution, and indeed he was, but now we have other parts that are being violated by Obama, so we want to shine the bright light of publicity on that, and there's no better way than to bring in the leader of the movement, the founder and leader of this movement, to make Obama produce his birth certificate and otherwise come clean on his citizenship, because there are other issues there, too, just beyond the mere birth certificate itself. And that, of course, is Philip Berg of Philadelphia, who is a former Democratic Party candidate for Senate and governor in Pennsylvania, former Democratic state committeeman for Pennsylvania, former Democratic county chairman of Montgomery County, Pennsylvania, and an activist in many, many progressive movements over the last 10 years. Phil, welcome.
My pleasure. How you doing?
We're glad to have you as always, and we're hoping for an update. And we want to get our calendars out and see what's coming up ahead now in the autumn term of the various courts.
Well, we have that date, October 26th, but I'm hoping that's for the Third Circuit Court of Appeals on the standing issue. Hi to everyone out there. It's Phil Berg, and our website is obamacrimes.com, OBAMACRIMES.com, obamacrimes.com. And we've been updating that. We have a new front page on there, and I direct people to go there. And the most important thing we can do now is spread the word on this whole issue. We're trying, and maybe Webster or one of your listeners can help, we're trying to get on the agenda to speak at the 9/12 event in Washington, D.C., but we haven't been successful. Now, part of the people there don't want anything to do with us, which is crazy because they're talking about things that are going on in the Obama administration, and if I'm correct, there should be no Obama administration. So we're working on that. But I have three cases pending. The one is on the standing issue, and like I said, that's on argument scheduled in the Third Circuit Court of Appeals in Philadelphia on October 26th. As we get close to that date, we'll confirm it or not. We have the Hollister case, which is the retired Air Force colonel, and that case on appeal to the D.C. Circuit Court of Appeals. And then we have the current case, which we're waiting for a hearing on, and we're surprised the judge hasn't scheduled it yet. That's on the False Claims Act case or the Qui Tem case. We're alleging there that Obama is an illegal alien. Therefore, not only can he be president, but it was illegal for him to be a U.S. Senator from Illinois, and therefore one million in salary and benefits should go back to the U.S. Treasury. So on that, we're waiting because we have filed for, as I think I mentioned last week, the judge dismissed the case. Now the case is open. We can discuss it. It's unsealed. We filed a motion for reconsideration. We found a statute stating that there's a conflict of interest. There's a major conflict of interest, in our opinion, between Attorney General Eric Holder. I mean, if there's no conflict of interest with him, then there's no conflict of interest anyplace, because he was on the campaign of Barack Obama, number one. Number two, he was one of 3 individuals selected to be on the selection committee for vice president, which ended up selecting Joe Biden. Number 3, she works. The third thing is that Holder became Attorney General, and he was confirmed by the Senate, and that's the highest law enforcement agent in the country, which also gives advice to the president. Now, that's significant because Eric Holder just recently has appointed a special prosecutor. So I say if that's not a conflict of interest, I don't know what is. But he just appointed a special prosecutor